Welcome back for another video. Today, I'm going to be doing a mock draft of the top 10. Just rolling through the top 10 real quick. Let's get right on into it. At number one, Panthers traded with the Bears to get the number one pick. They're obviously going to be taking quarterback. Everybody thinks they're taking CJ Stroud. Could be Anthony Richardson. Everybody thinks CJ Stroud. Frank Reich was coach of the Colts, and I'm a Colts fan. I believe Frank Reich wants Bryce Young, and he will go get Bryce Young with the number one overall draft pick. And he's going to be walking into a good situation because the Panthers have spent a decent amount of money bringing guys in this offseason and still have a decent amount of money. So that team could be really good with Bryce Young. And number two, that'll leave the Texans with CJ Stroud coming out of Ohio State, going number two overall to Houston, who is in complete rebuild mode, but they have a new coach that a lot of people believe can do a lot of good things, me being one of them. Even as a Colts fan, I think the Texans can be pretty good. Probably not this season, but in the future with CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, I think they have a chance to be successful again in the future. At number three, this is under the assumption that the Cardinals keep the number three pick. I think there's a pretty good chance they trade it, but they could trade it to the Titans, to the Buccaneers, anybody that wants to move up and get a quarterback. Could be the Raiders could trade up from 7. Colts could trade up from 4, right? But assuming that the Cardinals keep the number 3 overall pick, they will be taking, just like everybody else has them taking, defensive end Will Anderson Jr., probably the biggest hole on their team is defensive end. They already have their quarterback, so they don't need one. So they're going to take best player available. That's going to be Will Anderson Jr. coming out of Alabama, going to the Cardinals with number 3 pick. At number 4, the Colts need a quarterback, and I think they're going to be taking Anthony Richardson out of Florida. This is a guy who, in my opinion, will have a career arc kind of similar to Josh Allen. Won't be great coming in, will look a little bit rough, but I think the supporting cast that Anthony Richardson would have starting out with the Colts is better than what Josh Allen had starting out with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen's career really took off when he got Stephon Diggs. So I think Anthony Richardson, perfect pickup here for the Colts. Having Shane Steichen come in as their coach, I think he'll be able to form that offense around him. They have Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and what could be a good offensive line. They have to get back to it, but what could be a good offensive line. So I think Anthony Richardson makes sense to the Colts at 4. The Seahawks stay at 5. They take defensive tackle Jalen Carter coming out of Georgia. People saying that this could be the best player in this draft, like overall the best player in this draft. He just got in some trouble at the start of the combine, and that's sliding him down a little bit, but pretty much guaranteed top 10 pick. I think he goes 5 to the Seahawks. The Lions, just before I started recording this, traded Jeff Okudah to the Falcons for a 5th round pick in the upcoming draft. So even though they've signed a couple of cornerbacks, they're still going to need another one. In today's NFL, you're going to need a few. And I think they're going to pick up the best corner in this draft, Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. Now, he's only 5'10, 5'11 on a good day. But if you turn on the tape, Devin Witherspoon is a dog. Like he's going to be a guy in the NFL. And I think the Lions go ahead and get somebody to fill the spot of what Jeff Okudah is leaving behind. Number 7, I think the Raiders stay put and they draft offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State. There are a lot of really good tackles coming up in this draft, and he's one of them. And I think, it could be Peter Skoronski. I could see him being the draft pick here, but the Raiders need to get somebody that can protect the quarterback for years to come, whether that's going to be Jimmy G long term or not. You would expect with Josh McDaniels there, if there's any success with Jimmy G, they'll keep Jimmy G. But whoever the quarterback is there, you want to go ahead and get the centerpiece, especially when you have Jimmy G and you have Devontae Adams, you have Josh Jacobs. So going ahead, selecting a tackle that can come in and pretty much be a guy right away. He's a very good tackle and will be very good in the NFL. So I think the Raiders lock that up at this number 7 pick. At number 8, the Falcons continue to rebuild that defense that they've been trying to rebuild for the last few years. They draft defensive end Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. I think they've made some good acquisitions in free agency. Obviously, Jesse Bates being the biggest one of them, to really start solidifying that defense and rebuilding that defense. And they're taking strides in this offseason to get better as a football team. That division right now, the NFC South, is very wide open. The Panthers look like, the way they're building and with them having the number one overall pick, they're probably going to win the division. But the Falcons, if they can make the right plays and if Desmond Ritter can make improvements in his second year, they can be a player. So I think getting somebody to rush the passer, especially in today's NFL, is vitally important. I think Tyree Wilson going at 8 makes a lot of sense for the Falcons. At number 9, the Bears traded back. This was originally the Panthers pick, but now it's the Bears pick. I think the Bears add somebody to their secondary. Another guy people are talking about, this could be the best corner in this draft. I think it's not like there's a huge gap between Devin Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez. I just think overall, fundamentally and everything he brings to the table athletically, like Devin Witherspoon probably going to end up as the best corner in this draft, but Christian Gonzalez is very good, going to be really good in the NFL, and he's 6'1". You can't overstate that size. Like, and especially in today's NFL, there are a lot of guys coming in as receivers 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", that are really athletic and they have that size. So I think Christian Gonzalez makes a lot of sense for the Bears. The Bears are making a lot of strides this offseason to build on both sides of the ball. This is a complete rebuild around Justin Fields right now. And I think Christian Gonzalez is makes a lot of sense for them at the number 9 overall pick. Number 10, I think the Eagles stay put in this pick and they go get offensive tackle Broderick Jones coming out of Georgia. This is a guy that he is a monster of a human. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. Georgia's been pumping out NFL talent, really good NFL talent. I think he's going to be another one of those guys. This is more of a building for the future sort of move and building for the future around Jalen Hurts. Obviously, Lane Johnson's not going to be around forever, so I think Broderick Jones, drafting him at the number 10 overall and being able to solidify that for the future is going to be a great move for them. And I would love to know, what do you think of my top 10 and what would you change about that top 10? Do you think there are going to be trades? Do you think any of my draft picks don't make any sense? You let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to keep coming back for more off-season content. We'll see you for the next video.